Sul, vi now Fredersche Basims. When last we left off, Dave and Yvette had a day of not going to work, relaxing and enjoying that swimming pool that they spend so much money on. And now they have a new objective in life, and that is to host the greatest house party that the neighborhood has ever seen. They do talk about parties for quite a bit. Now it is time to put their conversation where their mouth is, which is exactly where it comes out of, and host the greatest house party that has ever happened. There'll be a swimming pool, there'll be music, there'll be food, there might be other things, who knows? They'll figure it out. But meanwhile, on the other side of the road, Samuel spent a lot of his money on getting a second floor to his home constructed, and he too is now going to be saving up his own simoleons for two reasons. The first reason is that we really need more things in here, this large space that is currently filled with a large amount of nothing. The other reason is that eventually Samuel is going to go on a holiday, but he needs to save up more money first because he won't even be able to stay there for more than a day, if that, with 680 simoleons. We also need to find out how expensive the bills are going to be as well, because we don't want to go on a holiday and then come back and have no money for the bills. And now his hygiene is at maximum, and it is time to play the piano and get that fun stat up to nearly maximum, and your mood into 5 bars in the green, because you're pretty much going to have your mood at exceptionally high levels all the time now. You have a lot of things that facilitate that. Excellent capabilities to make food, and a brilliant bed, and an excellent source of entertainment, fantastic amenities in the bathroom, and in general your house is now absolutely awesome. There are those 5 bars of green in the positive. We won't be able to keep that when he goes to work, but we'll probably have him going to work with 3 bars in the green at the bare minimum. He doesn't need that much to keep his job, and there's no chance that he's going to be getting a promotion, ever. But hey, keeping it as high as possible is always a good thing. And I think the fun is about to stop being gained. Nope, even more fun is going to be gained. 5 green arrows indicates that more fun is being had, and now that is going down. So no more fun is going to be had. The end of all fun. Alright. Hello, Melisande. Would you like to come over and say hello? I'm sure you would. After Samuel sighs in happiness at his good situation in life. Melisande, would you like to come over and say hello? You would indeed. Excellent. That provides a tiny boost to social, which is always nice, and we need to turn this round so that we can interact with Melisande. There we go. We'll just play with Melisande for a little bit. 1, 2, 3 interactions there, and then maybe a hug. Maybe Melisande will accept a hug after she is finished chasing her own tail. Oh, the endless hours of fun you're going to have with that, eh? The endless hours of fun. And Samuel just waits there going, eventually I'll be able to interact with her. Maybe. Just maybe. This is probably the best angle to see this. No, it isn't, because the stairs are in the way. That is the best angle to see this. There we go. 1 interaction there. We really need to interact with Danielle more often, because that relationship is really bad. But then again, Danielle seems to do pretty well at keeping her social really high, probably due to interactions with Melisande. Alright, we'll then have another interaction there. Actually, they know each other exceptionally well. Even though Samuel doesn't interact with Danielle that often, the relationship between the 2 cats is brilliant. They're both definitely friends with each other, which is always good. And now it is morning. A bright and cheery morning as always. When is it not a cheery morning in the world of The Sims? It never rains here. Ever. Nobody knows how the grass stays so green. Nobody knows. And Melisande is indeed appreciating the attention. Most certainly. Alright. What time do you go to work? It's gonna be within a few hours, so we probably have you, how's that? That is great. We'll just let you go off and play. And where is Danielle? Danielle is currently asleep. We probably want to clean that up. That was probably, Danielle. And we don't need to empty those either. Curious, I thought we'd need to empty them. Ah well, we'll just clean this up. I know the maid will turn up eventually, but we might as well do that now. And then I will stop spinning the camera and find something to do. I wonder what we'll do. We're actually up very early, so comfort is going down a little bit, and so is energy. You know what we should do? We should read something. Good idea. We could study more cooking. We only have about an hour. That is no good. We could have you... What could we have you do? You're going to go and have some breakfast. You really don't need to have some breakfast. You know what you're going to do? You're going to sit in your garden and appreciate the beauty that surrounds you for a small amount of time. That will help alleviate the loss in comfort. It won't really do much for energy because you can't sleep on... Actually, I think you can sleep on that one. I wouldn't sleep on that one because it's really not a very comfortable looking bench. It's like, I will sleep on this. It is made of solid stone. For some reason, my back seems to be hurting after all this, and very quickly, because he has free will, he'll just stand up and go, you know what? I could do with some breakfast, even though I've already had breakfast. And then he sits down once more and decides in about 5 or 10 minutes that, you know what? He wants to have breakfast. We'll just wait for this. Will he want breakfast? No, right now he is literally just happy sitting there. No, wait, he's changed his mind. He wants to have breakfast, but that's okay, because now you're going to go here and go to work. And you're going to run over there for some reason. He's so excited to go to work. Very excited indeed. Time for you to be a software CEO in your flashy sports car. That is one of the other perks of being this high up in this profession. You get a very snazzy sports car as your carpool. I wonder who's driving it. But either way, here comes the maid to clean things up. And there is no gardener today, and that really didn't take that long whatsoever. Are there any bills today? The answer is there are no bills today, and Clare Charming is no longer a family friend. The number of tears that I shed for that news is absolutely 0. None whatsoever. And Melisande is, I think, going to come over and say hello. Maybe. But either way, we're going to cancel this interaction because we want to go and... there we go. There is an interaction that has appeared. We're going to go over to Melisande, or is Melisande going to come over to us? We'll never know because there has been a traffic jam at this door. We're going to get rid of this interaction. And then we'll just interact with... there we go. We'll just interact with Melisande. Hello, Melisande. How are you? Are you well? Melisande is happy to see Samuel. And Samuel is always happy to see Melisande. Alright, you don't have that much energy whatsoever, but we could do a few things with the time that we still have. Hello there, Melisande. I think Danielle is asleep, isn't... No, Danielle will not be asleep for much longer. We could actually interact with Danielle for a while. That seems like a good idea. Let's call over Danielle. Danielle, would you like to come over and say hello? I imagine you might, although we don't have that much energy, so we won't be able to do this we won't be able to do this for that much longer. I don't know if Danielle's actually going to, I don't think Danielle's actually going to come over and say hi, so we're just going to interact with Danielle some. Hello, you. How are you? And Danielle goes, who is this strange person? The person that fills that bowl? I think you are. And so we're just going to interact here and see if this number actually goes up. I'm not sure that it will. And the answer is that, it didn't seem to go up whatsoever. That is curious. I thought that number would start to go up. But no, it didn't. It's just going to deteriorate to absolutely 0. Which is very curious. I wonder if that's some sort of bug, or if I'm doing something wrong. It's more than likely the latter. But anyway, we'll just have a few more interactions here. And that is still at 0. It will never go above 0. Ever. Do you want to have more interactions? We'll have one more, I think. I know you're about to go and eat some food, but we'll have to fill that bowl up later anyway. And then, we don't have that much energy whatsoever, so we really won't be able to do that much else. But we do have a lot of money already. Just one day at work has pretty much secured our financial stability for now. And then we're going to fill up this bowl. I've no idea why that isn't going up. It really should be. It really should be, but it is not. Ah well, you have absolutely no energy whatsoever. We could have you go and study some cooking, that might be a good idea, until your energy is absolutely rock bottom. And now you have to go and scale the stairs to get back to your bedroom. And walk through this massive room that has absolutely nothing in it. Maybe a fireplace might be a good idea here, and nothing directly next to it because there is a chance that you'll cause a fire by doing so. We will need a smoke detector up here if we do get a fireplace, just in case. We really won't be reading this book for that long, because energy is rather low. And they're having a fun time interacting with each other. Most certainly, although the light really should be on if they're doing stuff, but then again, they can't really turn on the lights. Or can they? Alright, he's not going to be doing that for much longer. Just, there we go, that is enough time, because he is extremely tired. Time for you to go to bed, I think. It is 10 o'clock. It is very late for a man who works as hard as you do. Alright, we're going to most certainly just focus on downstairs right now, because we can see his energy as we are, as we're just focused on here, this bar. Alright then. Energy is going up quite quickly, very quickly indeed, although he's going to be up quite a bit later than he was yesterday. There we go, and it is time for you to get up and greet the day. And who is awake? Only Melisande is awake. Alright, I think the cat is in the way. So I think you're going to have to, no, the cat is still in the way. No, wait, the cat is no longer in the way. I didn't know that they could actually get upstairs, which is nice to know. I thought that they could only be downstairs, but the fact that they can scale the stairs is good news indeed. Good news indeed. Alright, it's time for you to go and have breakfast, and it is going to take a little while for you to, or is Melisande going to go downstairs first? Nope, it would seem that Samuel is going to go downstairs first, and then Melisande in a little bit. Okay, time for you to have some delicious, delicious breakfast, and we're going to find out if you can actually put something there. I think you can, but I'm not entirely sure. Alright, did I design this well, or did I not design this well? Or are you just going to put it over there and ignore that this is here? That might very well happen. You're actually just going to take it straight over there, because I didn't make anything that is put down on one of the sides there. So never mind. Alright, you're going to eat that, which will be some fantastic food, and we might not... Oh dear, we actually don't have that much time whatsoever. We were up a little too late yesterday. That's okay though, we'll manage to do both of these things and then go to work, at least hopefully. There we go, we do have enough time, so we're just going to have that shower and then quickly run to work. There we go, you need to be a little bit faster. Just a little bit, hopefully you'll get there. And he's going to run! Run, Samuel, run! And he was not late, which is fortunate. Mental note, need to go to bed a few hours earlier. Just a couple of hours earlier. Alright, any bills today? There are bills today! And congratulations, your pet has earned a hunting skill point, which is always nice, and we're going to find out how expensive those bills are now. They're going to be very, very expensive, aren't they? Very expensive indeed. And is there an interaction that's about to happen here? I've no idea. But Melisande is running over here, so I think there will be. Yes, indeed, there will be. Melisande has come to say hello. And after running all the way there, it's like, no, keep it cool. We don't want Samuel to think that we're too excited to see him. Just walk over at a leisurely pace. And then Samuel just stood there. Hello, Melisande. How are you? And Danielle is absolutely fine, as always, but you have quite literally no energy whatsoever, so you're just going to fall asleep in a moment. You know, your social actually went down really, really quickly. Really quickly indeed. Alright, we're now going to go and get those bills, I think. There we go. How expensive are they going to be? Probably very expensive, but we're going to find out, and that is actually not that expensive whatsoever. 466 is absolutely fine. So we'll just pay those, and not really sure what else we're going to do for now, although we will wake up Melisande, just so that Melisande will be able to go to one of the far more comfortable beds. Time for you to wake up, and Melisande woke up. And then Melisande will hopefully go over to one of the beds, which will be a much better thing to do. Actually, what are you going to do? You're going to go and play the piano. To be fair, you haven't had that much fun, so you playing the piano actually isn't a good, actually isn't a bad idea whatsoever. Alright, time for you to play, and it's really going to take a very long time for you to gain any more skill in that, because you do have 8 points of creativity. 8 points of creativity is a very high amount. There are only 2 levels that are higher, and the music that you play when you have 10 creativity is fantastic. You're now going to go to sleep over there, which is much better. Much better indeed. And that bowl is empty. We're going to have to go and fill that. Most certainly. Alright. You are really good at that. We're just going to fast forward time a tiny bit, just so this, there we go, just so that goes up a tiny bit more. We'll then fill up this bowl, and then we're going to go and get some sleep. This time round we have far more energy, so we'll be up a lot earlier. Then again, it does take a lot longer for us to actually get to sleep, mainly because we're travelling over to where the bed is. We could have got one of those teleporters, but we ended up not getting one of those teleporters. We could actually use some of the money that we have to... Also, the mood here is at 5, even though energy is so critically low. That is always good. We could start using the money to buy things up here, but we're going to save it for now. We'll be getting things for this room later. And then, after he's gone on a holiday, who knows what he'll do? Who knows indeed. Alright, time for you to go and get some much-needed sleep. We need, I think at least 1 more day's worth of money before we send you off on a holiday. Just saving up. Imagine if you only had to go to work for 3 days to be able to afford going on a holiday. That would be quite nice indeed. Alright, there we go. They're just playing with that. Getting that is always a good idea. And there is El Bandito. We need to get up and deal with that right now. Time to call animal control there. We could actually just have you be awake at this point, but I think we'll then just have you go back to sleep. Just for an hour or so. Just for an hour or so. And I know you're going to complain it is very, very early in the morning. Also, you're not going to go back to sleep. Your energy is just too high right now. It is just too high. So we might as well just have you go and make breakfast, because apparently you don't want to go back to sleep, which is understandable. Alright, we'll have you do that, this, and that. You don't even need to have any fun whatsoever. We do need to interact with Melisande a little bit, though, because that social is rather low. Alright, time for you to have a delicious breakfast while 20 simoleons vanishes. Melisande seems very intent just to follow Samuel around. And considering how well they know each other, that does make sense. Are you actually going to go upstairs? No, you're just going to spin around in a circle and run around this large open area. It is indeed far more of an open area than it was before. Alright, you're going to go over there, which is fine, because we have plenty of time with which we can interact with you. Alright, excellent food was eaten, and then he'll use these, and in general we've got to that point where we don't really need to upgrade things. I mean, we could make these chairs a bit better, we could make the piano better, we could even make this a bit better, but it would be a very expensive upgrade for, as you can see, a very minimal benefit, because hunger is pretty much at maximum after eating that meal. We don't really need to... We don't need to improve any of the amenities here. They're all pretty fantastic. Right, that has been taken care of, and then we'll go and have a shower and use that toilet. That fantastic toilet that even Dave has now. Dave, too, can attest to how amazing it is. No longer will the toilets get clogged up because it flushes itself. Samuel has had that luxury for a very long time. He is very happy. He always sings when it's a good day. And today is going to be a good day. And the cats are interacting with one another, and there was a negative and a positive there. We're going to call over Melisande. There we go. Melisande needs some interactions before she falls asleep. And this hasn't gone up at all. I've no idea why this hasn't gone up. It really should. But never mind. Okay, we'll just interact with you some. I think we'll praise you for a start. And then we'll have some interactions. We'll pet there once, and then again, and then I think we'll give a hug. There we go, that'll certainly help. Melisande does like the attention after all, most certainly. Excellent. It is not morning yet, it will be soon, though. It will be soon. And although Samuel goes to work every day, the hours are long and grueling, and in general his work is rather difficult, it's all worth it in the end, for the massive amounts of money he earns, and Melisande coming to greet him every day after work. Melisande truly is Samuel's greatest friend. Quite literally, I don't think anyone else is more his friend than Melisande is. Not even his brother. Alright, one more interaction here. Yep, that should pretty much sort out a social there. And what are you going to do? I think you're just going to play the piano for a tiny bit, because why not, eh? Why not? It is a brilliant method of improving that fun stat, and also improving creativity a tiny bit every single time. And now you're just going to pounce Melisande. And not surprisingly, Melisande was surprised by that. And then they'll interact a tiny bit. And there will be positives all around. They really do know each other very well indeed. Very well indeed. I just think that Danielle doesn't really interact with Samuel that much. Just like, oh well, he's here, he feeds me, but I have Melisande for company, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. Also, that fun stat is rocketing up, which is always nice. Maybe we should have a second bookshelf down here, just like there, so that we can have him read something downstairs instead. Maybe. But either way, fun is pretty much nearly at maximum, which is always nice, and then he'll have one more day at work, and then we'll go on that holiday. So when we come back, folks, just a little bit more saving, and then a holiday. Because why not, eh? You've earned it, Samuel. So I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Dag dag.